What's up guys, Gemma here and back again for another video. Quite a talky one today, topical debate, you guys are going to get involved and it is around the kind of whole thing in terms of like mini consoles that are coming out, as we seem to have a barrage of them announced, and I have quite a lot to say. It's been kind of playing on my mind. Now before we go any further, if you haven't seen the Lady Lounge tour, go and check it out. It'll be located in the cards, and early next week as well I want to kind of talk about some thoughts around E3, because it's less than a month away now and there's been a lot of speculation around what's going to be coming for E3 and what's not going to be coming for E3 and what people would like to see for E3. So that video is going to be dropping on Monday. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do it yet, whether or not it's going to be a debate or may go out somewhere and talk about it, I don't know. So stay tuned for it guys, but back to the topic of the day. Well, first of all, happy Friday. Happy Friday. I feel like a shitbag tied at both ends today. So minis, full disclaimer, when the NES Mini came out, I did a video and I absolutely slated the idea of it. Absolutely hated this notion of a mini NES coming out with preloaded games. I thought it'd be tacky, I thought it would undermine the integrity of that part of the retro gaming community. But actually, it turned out to be quite good. It turned out to be reasonably successful, and I think that success spurred Nintendo on to then bring out the SNES Mini, which of course I was completely into. Now if you're new to the channel, the Super Nintendo is my favourite console. There are 2,500 games in this Lady Lounge, and the SNES, the Super Nintendo, the SNES, whatever you want to call it, is the one that is closest to my heart. So when that was announced, I was really excited, and obviously I did a lot of videos on the Super Nintendo Mini, and a lot of you guys ripped me for having two and being selfish, whatever. One is still kind of factory boxed as it was, not sealed unfortunately because they didn't seal them, and one is right there next to the camera. So I was super into that. And I think the main difference for me was that I was definitely more emotionally invested in the Super Nintendo compared to the NES. Saying that, I think like looking back I was a little bit harsh when the NES Mini was announced. I was a little bit harsh, a little bit narrow-minded, maybe a little bit naive as to how good they'd actually be, because having played the SNES Mini, kind of all over it, and I've mentioned E3 in the beginning there, I'm actually hoping, I'm really hoping that from Nintendo we get that announcement of the Nintendo 64 Mini, because there are some awesome games that I think would just eke out into a brand new generation of gamers, a brand new generation of families, and just absolutely wicked, man. I really hope we get that. Now it ends there for me, and this is the kind of where I want you guys to kind of come in. Of late, and again I don't know if it'll be linked in the card, it'll definitely be in the review playlist on my channel, I did a review of the Commodore 64 Mini and I absolutely couldn't stand it. Like, I think the thing looked really nice, don't get me wrong. There were some really nice advantages. It was HDMI, so 720 HD output. It was easy to kind of hook up via USB to the power supply. You know, there were some good advantages. It looked really nice. It obviously mimicked the original C64, but it was much smaller. There were a lot of downsides to that console. The games were very kind of not very inspiring. The library that it kind of came with, the 64 built-in games, wasn't very inspiring. The keyboard itself, you couldn't actually use it, and there was just, you know, it was just like really buggy with trying to use the joystick to navigate around the on-screen keyboard. I mean, I know you could plug in a USB keyboard, but it kind of tired on me very quickly. And that led me to kind of feeling a little bit harsh, especially with the upcoming Atari, and admittedly I've never been a fan of plug and plays at all. I think the SNES Mini is as far as I've ever been in terms of just plugging something into a console and having a self-contained unit with a load of preloaded kind of games. So I got a review copy, sample of the C64. Really didn't like it. I know we got the Atari coming out, and I know of late Sega have been coming onto people's radars with the Sega Genesis, or rather Sega Mega Drive Mini, which I'm hopeful for. I'm hopeful because it's that 16-bit console. It was from when I was a kid, like the core heart, the core true like part of my gaming, my growing up, my developing, my being a kid, although it was a shit childhood. like being a kid, like for me the 16-bit period was where it was at. So I will be investing in the Mega Drive Mini. I don't, however, think like after the N64 Mini, I don't think I'm going to be overly fussed. Now I'm wondering, what else could we see by way of minis, and are we over encumbered on the market of companies bringing out these rehashed consoles with multiple games built in? Are we over encumbered? Is it an issue? Are we in danger of lowering the value of some of the retro games? For me personally, I don't think we are. I think the markets are very, very different. I think something like your SNES, like the mini market with the SNES Mini, the NES Mini, the Mega Drive Mini, they are specifically aimed and targeted at people that do not want to spend thousands and thousands of pounds on the original stuff. Things like families that want to buy their kids something that they can just kind of play around with in the living room on Christmas morning. You know, I can't imagine, like my brother for example, it'd be perfect for him, for my nephews, because Ruben would probably break an original Sega Mega Drive, and it's big, and for him and a family that really kind of need the space, the Sega Mega Drive Mini would be great. Like my brother would probably watch this video. He would be the perfect customer, the perfect target audience for the Sega Mega Drive Mini. It's small, compact, light, it's cheap, loads of games built in, plenty of stuff to pacify the kids. That's the core market. It's not people like me and you with all these games and all this kind of like, I don't know, guess disposable cash, if you, for want of a better phrase, to go out and buy stuff. But collectors like me still do invest, and collectors like me still want to have that certain level of kind of like wowness, that shock, that this is gorgeous, this is a nice product. Didn't get that with the C64 Mini, but I did feel that with the SNES Mini. Even if it was a product like the SNES Mini, I know you can hack it. Mine is hacked, the one that's out. I have the NTSC one as well. It is hacked, but even if it was like an unhackable product, I would still be really, really happy with it. You know, it kind of, you know, just to like hold, like, what do I like about it, right? Just to kind of hold it, like, feels like a semi-expensive product. You know, the reset button has a function, the on-off switch has a function. Nothing had functionality on the C64 keyboard, like nothing. So I'm hoping that if and when the N64 Mini gets announced, there is some functionality on the console. You know, I cannot wait. I hope that you get 4 controllers with it. You know, I hope that the Sega Mega Drive Mini, I hope that has some kind of elements that from the SNES Mini, like a functioning reset button, a functioning power button. It would be nice to potentially have had something to do with the eject button on the Super Nintendo. You know, there's little things, even as a collector, that I still want from this mini market, this mini time of gaming. And that kind of leads us to now, you know, there's speculation about, like I said, the N64 Mini, we got an Atari Mini coming out, there's speculation of a Game Boy Mini. Like, where next? Are we looking at the potential of a PlayStation 1 Mini? You know, PlayStation 2? Could we go that far? I personally don't think we will get that far. I don't think the minis would be suitable into the 32-bit generation, purely because a lot of the game sizes, you know, with it, like something like Final Fantasy VII, you know, the size of that game compared to the size of like Super Mario World, that's huge compared to the size of Super Mario World. So I think then obviously the technology would be very different in order to accommodate the bigger games, you know, the more popular games. But I can't see it. I don't think we'll go any further than the N64 Mini. Now, I'm perfectly happy with that. The notion, the thought, the concept, just in conversation now with you guys, of like something like a PlayStation 1 Mini doesn't excite me at all. I don't know why. For me, it's still quite a fresh console. I would happily, I have like 1, 2, 3 PlayStation 1s. There is 3, yes, 3 PlayStation 1s. And for me, it feels just as crisp as it did back in 1997 on Christmas morning, getting that console out, playing it. Kind of know it's retro, but I'm not quite ready for a PlayStation 1 Mini yet. I mean, that's pure speculation. Nothing's been leaked. But I think it has to stop at the N64 Mini if we get it. Now, like I said, E3 is a month away, and I do want to do a separate video talking about E3 and what I'm looking forward to, what I'd like to see. But from Nintendo in particular, on the topic, N64 Mini. Is E3 the right place to announce it? For me personally, I think it is. I think it's what fans want, and E3 for me is about giving fans what they want. People are happy consumers, people are happy gamers if they hear their favourite titles are going to come out, if they hear their favourite consoles are going to come out, if the speculation reigns truth. That's when people tend to be happy. Like 2 years ago in E3 when we got like Shenmue 3, Final Fantasy 7 HD, like people went nuts for that because we've been asking for it for years. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, as always. I'm super stoked about the SNES Mini. I still love it today. I play it, you know, obviously you've got the functionality with the Bluetooth controllers. I was very harsh on the NES Mini when it came out. I actually still don't own one to this day. They tend to hold their value quite a bit. They're quite up there in price. Like a lot of people are still selling them. They're actually more expensive, I've seen, compared to the SNES Minis. And that kind of baffles me. I'm in no rush to get an NES Mini. I'm perfectly happy playing my original hardware. I have a signed NES from Masayuki Uemura. I have one there. I have two original NES consoles. I'm cool with that. I think the difference with the NES consoles is they can be a little bit sketchy compared to the SNES. Like you really do have to blow those consoles super hard, the cartridges, sorry, to get them to run stably on an NES, which is a bit of a shame, but hey, can't win them all. So that's kind of my 2 cents. I think, oh, and just kind of backtracking slightly, we had the Spectrum Vega, that kind of came out, that was a plug and play, that had like 1,000 preloaded games, funded by Kickstarter, a product that is definitely, you don't see a lot of now, you definitely don't see a lot of people talking, tweeting, you know, that console for me, that plug and play, that Mini, the buzz died pretty much after it kind of came out. I went to the launch of that and watched them kind of being made on the production line. Again, there's a video on my channel if you want to go search for it. Just type in ZX Spectrum Vega, TheGebs24, to see that in, you know, in motion. After it came out and I got one and I reviewed it, I think I only ever played it like once, and it just, again, it just got tired on me very quickly. But again, it's a niche market. I think it's a niche age group of gamers as well. For me, I'd much rather soak myself into the 16 and 32-bit era. Yeah, and obviously the 64-bit era with the N64. But anything kind of like pre-NES from the 8-bit and down, not so fussed about. As much as I grew up on the ZX Spectrum, the Vega for me, the hype died pretty quickly. And I think that's going to be the case with the C64 as well. So I've told you what I think, guys. I'm looking forward to reading your comments in the section below. Make sure you give us a follow on all social medias and hit that red button. Sorry I look like shit. I've just got in from my day job. So I'm absolutely tired, man. It's a little bit late here. But anyway, you don't want to hear about all that crap. Make sure you guys hit subscribe. Make sure you leave a like. But for now, my name's Gemma. Take care. See you this week. Oh, by the way, it's my birthday next week. So this weekend we're going to have a little celebration, like pre-birthday celebratory stream. So make sure you tune in. Anyway, whatevs. My name's Gemma. Take care. See you soon.